What's happening, YouTube? How y'all doing out there? What's going on? This is really gonna be about George Clooney getting passed over as the role for JD in the movie Thelma and Louise. At that time, George Clooney was a fresh-faced cat who had done the Facts of Life, but his main thing was more with TV. Then, of course, there was ER. He was kind of following the Denzel Washington thing of playing the made for TV in the hospitals and doing that role after he had done comedy. And so then he went on to audition for film roles because that's back in the day when getting into the film was the end all be all. You make it to the big screen, you was good to go. And he auditioned for this particular role, but he didn't get it. It ended up going to one of his buddies, one of his closest friends. It went to Brad Pitt. That role of JD, the bad boy in the movie that was enamored with Gina Davis's character and hustle. He was a hustler and everything like that. That's an interesting situation because Brad Pitt played that role pretty good. George Clooney always had like a used car salesman or a department store type of, salesperson type of persona. But I never thought of him in this kind of a hustle. I don't know if he would have been able to pull that off. I really don't know. I look at him and I kind of am um, mm, just not really thinking that kind of hustles in him. He talks a certain way that it just doesn't loan itself to what the character that Brad Pitt did. Brad Pitt had the cowboy hat, and it was a type of vibe that it complemented. I think because I saw Brad Pitt in the last years of the TV show Dallas, and so he had some of that flair which carried over. Because George Clooney was not what I call playing a country bumpkin hustler type of role. I just didn't feel like that was in his DNA. But it all depends. Sometimes you see some acting and you kind of got a surprise of how where it goes to and how it's forecast and all that. So it's just one of those things that you're kind of like, wow, I didn't quite see that coming or emerging. But anyway, Clooney got turned down a bit at that particular time. This is long before the Ocean's 11s and all the other stuff that he did when he became a household name. This was just when he was fresh faced on the NBC block and lot, and different era, different time. Because sometimes people can imagine that an actor, because if you're not there to have witnessed it, then it kind of looks foreign to you. So people be like, "Oh, how could they have done that?" Well, hindsight is a trick. It's a mind jetter trick. So you never know how people's careers are going to turn out. I could tell you a lot of stories about things like that if you looked at someone on a TV show and you didn't see that other person blowing up. So, which I might do. Might just had something that kind of came into my mind about where you don't see that person blowing up and it happens. So, but anyway, George Clooney, of course, he had Rosemary Clooney and the whole family and the whole thing. But I don't really think he could have played the role. When I remember in that movie, I don't think his style would have worked. It's just certain about certain styles that they have to kind of convey and be believable. Because acting is based on the eyes and based on the appearance and the vibe, and so I don't think it would have worked. But it's interesting that he was, but Brad Pitt was the right fit for that one. But anyway, let me know about George Clooney that got passed over on Thelma and Louise and the role went to Brad Pitt. Do you think that was the right choice, or do you think that George Clooney should have the chance? Let me know in the comments below. Please like, subscribe, welcome thoughts, comments, and I do respond. Thank you. Wash your hands. Keep your mind clear. Watch out for another. Share the video if you like and hit the membership. Stay safe, stay blessed, stay woke, stay free. I'm out. Peace.